structure a plan, you have to know exactly what you're going to achieve, you have to open a spreadsheet, open a PowerPoint, decide everything, and then move forward. But then, most people don't actually know what the hell is entrepreneurship, empreendedorismo. In fact, there is no word for entrepreneurship in Spanish, I think. I mean, the proper word, there is an emprendedor, but emprendedorismo, emprendedurismo, look at the Real Academia. So basically, what I'd like to share with you guys are three things here. One is, what is actually entrepreneurship? And the answer is, I don't know. I mean, there is no clear definition about it. And actually, lots of people talk about, it's the act of, if you go to the dictionary, people will write and say, it's the act of starting something, it's the act of, it comes from the French, which is entrepreneur or whatever. And, but it doesn't matter. It's the fact of accomplishing things by doing something. So that's why I like so much this approach of hands-on, which is basically what is entrepreneurship. And who is the entrepreneur? It's incredible. Whatever you read about the entrepreneurs, being in the US or here or in Brazil or whatever, you're going to always find this magic hero that is the entrepreneur. The guy, and I love the guy, I love Steve Jobs, the Steve Jobs, unique guy, and it's above everything. It's touched by God if he's not God himself. So is that true? I mean, is this the majority of the entrepreneurs around the world? Probably not. I'm pretty sure it's not. And the third most important thing that I think is one of the most important things is what actually entrepreneurs do. And honestly, it's the process. I think the most important thing about entrepreneurship is not what actually entrepreneurship is not who the guy is or if the guy is a risk taker or not, but what actually he does, he or she. So let's focus on the process. And effectuation, which is this approach to entrepreneurship, is all about. I don't know if you guys can read. Have you guys read? I don't know. So I don't want to go through this here, but basically, how many guys have worked as an intern at a big company or so? You guys probably have realized that these companies, if they are medium-sized or big companies, they most of the time define their business model through this process. To reach the customer, they start with the market definition, then they have segmentation, then they target, then they position their products to reach a customer. So this is a typical approach. And what are typical companies that do this? You know these guys. They're big enough, they know the market, they know what is the consumer behavior they think they know, and then they bring products to these guys by segmenting clearly. I want to talk to universitarios between 20 and 25 years old that live in 3 or 4 districts of Madrid, and then they go to a product. But then what's funny is that we realize that expert entrepreneurs actually do the opposite. I mean, they don't care about what is the market, what is the segment, what is the target, what is the position. They basically define some possible markets or some ideas that they could actually work with. Then they start to talk to people. They start to talk to partners. They start to talk to dealers. They start to talk to potential customers. And then they start adding segments or potential ideas to that potential market. Then they come to a rough idea about who is the customer, who is the potential customer, but they don't know for sure. And then how do they decide to focus on these potential customers? They basically go back inside and ask, who are they? Who I am, what I know, and who I know. Which is basically the 3 key concepts, or basically the 3 resources that all entrepreneurs start with. So if I want to target, I don't know, I want to sell ice cream to Libya. I have never been to Libya. I know, trying to target new clients, new segments, new customers that they are clueless about it. And what happens in the end most of the time? They fail. That's true. I mean, the hidden score, I mean, I'm a former consultant, I can't disclose data, but the truth is that most of the innovation programs of some of these well-known companies are complete failure. And that's okay, that's fine, they keep jobs and people need jobs. That's fine. But we realize, well, these guys, who are the guys who actually do these type of things, or who think like this, are completely different type of guys. I mean, of course, I'm focusing on technology here, but just to give a sense of the type of companies we're talking about and how they think about customers and markets. Come on. Who needed this 2 years ago? Who actually said, I need one of these 2 years ago? Raise your hand. You need this. You said, no, you didn't know that it exists, and it's, no, 2005. I said, I need an iPad. One thing that looks like an iPad.
Something that you could touch on. I mean, after trying the iPhone or any.
2005. The iPhone was launched in 2005.
Okay, 2005. Is it 2 years ago?
So I'm going back 6 years ago.
Then no.
No, I see your point. I mean,
yeah.
Me too. I mean, I remember I tried one of the first tablets, I think 8 years ago. Was it Dell or Toshiba? I mean, it was not good. But I mean, I'm pretty sure that Chris thought about this as well. But I mean, these guys actually created a product and they couldn't care less about what customers thought about it. Basically, they created a product. They started to segment. They start to find it. They throw the product. It could be a complete disaster. But you know what? Some people actually like it. Some dealers actually like it, and people start to talk about this, and people found a way to use this and give sense to justify that they were spending $500 in this thing, despite the fact that they have an iPhone that had all the same characteristics and features that it had. But anyway, I'm one of those voices. But it's a completely different. I mean, it's a completely different approach. I think that's the summary. So if you go back and understand what those big guys, the Telefonicas and something that they like to do, we come back to this casual reasoning. So they have some given goals, and then they go after potential means that will somehow be working together to achieve those goals. So that's why they have, those of you who work in companies, that's why you have budget, that's why you have, HR defining how many employees they're going to fire or hire over next year. So they basically work with this in order to achieve some pre-established goals. Entrepreneurs work completely different. Again, they start with their needs. I have 10,000 euros, 5 years of work experience, and I like ice cream. That's what I know. That's what I am. That's what I have. Good enough. So now, what can you do? What can you do with these resources? What can you do with 5 years of experience, 10,000 euros, and love for ice creams? You can end up with a whole bunch of potential businesses, like an ice cream shop, or you could be a great provider of ingredients to the ice cream supply chain or whatever. I mean, there are endless possibilities, given that you know how to work this very well. And everybody has these pieces of resources and needs that they know very well, but sometimes they don't know that they have. But if they look more inside, they probably will find and know how to work these resources to come to imagine and potential needs. So in summary, if you could have a process here, basically what we realize that what entrepreneurs actually do is basically this. I mean, they start with these answering these three questions. Who am I? Who I know? What I know? And who am I? And then what can I do with this? Then they find the first goals, which is roughly an idea, they are clueless about goals are this, but they start to define these goals based on this. Call people that they know. Start talking to, you know, family, friends, fools, other people that they meet at the street, and you start to get some commitment. You know, you talk to a friend and say, hey, would you try my ice cream at home? It's free. I mean, just try and give me a feedback. And they go, okay, I'll try. And then you got, you know, like half a liter of ice cream at home, and you try it with a girlfriend, and they say, hey, this is a very good ice cream. In fact, could be a little bit more sweet than it is. And then you give this feedback. And I say, you know, by the way, if you make it a little bit sweeter, I'll not only buy half a liter from you, but I'll also refer to the guys at my school. And I'm pretty sure they could offer a deal, and then we're gonna sell, you know, 10 liters. And by the way, if you are willing to give me a 10% of